Alrighty, y'all. This is Connor Wardle here, back with another reptile care video. I just want to start off by saying I apologize for missing Wednesday. And to make up for that, I'm going to have two videos today, Friday. Usually I try to post on Wednesdays and Friday just to kind of, I guess, get the maximum amount of content out there for y'all while still taking care of my school and work schedule. So, anyway. Whatever, but let's get into it. For those of you that are new to this channel, what I do is kind of share just some different care videos for the more uncommon or underrated species that I do enjoy keeping. After I get through the underrated or uncommon species, I'm going to kind of transition into just kind of your normal stuff that you see in captivity, your normal Pantherophis, Lampreltis, Pitchophis, stuff like that. But yeah, so the format for these videos, if you are new to the channel, what I do is I go over native range for the species, what type of habitat they inhabit in the wild, and then I transition into captive care and husbandry, and I follow it up with any additional notes that I have for this particular species, just different stuff that I've noticed through keeping these species, or just anything that I think is cool about the animal. Just like I say in all my videos, I don't claim to be a pro or an expert. At the end of the video, I'll kind of refer you guys to people that are larger producers of certain species in the videos, or any Facebook groups or something like that, where you can get further additional information that might not be covered in this video. Or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to shoot me a message on any of my social media platforms. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search up Connor Wardle the same way that it's spelled here in the YouTube channel. You guys can see me there and see just the diversity of stuff that I keep. So yeah, let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about the northern rubber boa. So the northern rubber boa, there's two species, the northern rubber boa and the southern rubber boa. Technically, they are all just kind of lumped into just rubber boas now, but I still like to differentiate between the two just based off range. I think it's kind of cool. As far as native range in the wild, you're going to see rubber boas in a kind of a variety of different habitats throughout California, Nevada, Utah, western Colorado, Idaho, southwestern Montana, and then Oregon, Washington State, and southwestern Canada. So they've got a pretty extensive range throughout the Pacific Northwest. And as you can imagine, with such a broad range, you can find them in a variety of different habitats. Most commonly, you're going to see them in kind of valley or meadow type habitats near some type of body of water, whether that be a stream or a small pool, something like that. Or they can even be found in kind of the Chirapal kind of scrubland habitat in California. And as well as kind of up northeast of in their range. You can find them in more deciduous or conifer forests, where they'll kind of hang out with the pine needles there. So yeah, as far as diet in the wild goes, they don't have quite as varied of a diet as certain other species, but you'll find these guys, especially at this stage here, eating small salamanders, small amphibians, and small rodents. As they grow, they usually top out around 25 to 30 inches. I believe the largest record is like 33 inches or something like that. And at that size, they would still eat similar prey, just slightly larger rodents, maybe larger amphibians and lizards, stuff like that. But yeah, as far as captive care goes, they're not super difficult, in my opinion. Just I keep mine at 84 degrees, which is slightly larger. Slightly higher temperatures than the rest of my colubrids, which I keep at 82 degrees. But I keep these guys at 84 on a thermostat. I find at the cooler temperatures, they don't quite eat as well, or they'll even just snub their nose and not even eat at all at cooler temps. So slightly warmer, 84 to 86 degrees works for these guys just fine, and they'll eat fairly regularly at those temperatures. As far as cage requirements go, nothing too crazy. You keep these guys I keep my pair in a rack system, just on aspen with a water bowl. People do keep these guys in tanks, or I guess there are people that keep them in tanks. but there's not really a benefit either way, in my opinion. Some of you guys may feel differently about rack systems, but I'm not going to be getting into that. But yeah, as far as we talked about feeding in captivity, just rodents. Rodents, that's their typical prey in captivity, frozen thawed specifically. That's worked for these guys, and I'm not going to offer live just because I don't want to don't want to run the risk of potentially harming an animal. As far as just different notes that I have for these guys, I do find that brumation is necessary for any aged rubber boa. A lot of times, rubber boas aren't going to eat until they've had a brumation and eat the following spring after they've been born. It's something that kind of was something to kind of get used to for me. I usually the majority of my collection is primarily colubrids, so I wasn't really used to that long waiting period there, and I got kind of nervous. But the breeder reassured me there's no issues with waiting and kind of letting them go through that brumation process, and then they ate right out of brumation. So it's something to think about and not freak out about if you are going to keep these guys. Just monitor body weight and body composition, make sure they still look good, and if they don't eat, that's okay in that first couple months of life. But after brumation, they should get onto a regular feeding schedule. As far as brumation temps go for these guys, I kept my pair down at 42 degrees for a period of 4 months. That's a little bit lower than my other species, but if they don't get cold enough, whenever they wake up in the spring, they're not going to eat as well. So I just dropped them down to 42 degrees. They came out eating fine. The other parts of my collection, the colubrids and all that, I usually keep them at 52 degrees, 50 to 52 degrees. So that is quite a bit cooler. I kept these guys in a fridge with a little thermometer in there so I could make sure that my temps were holding consistent. Yeah, just other notes that are kind of cool about these guys. On their tail here, they've got kind of like a little stubby tail that they can use as a defense mechanism. It kind of mimics their head a little bit. And in the wild, if a predator were to come across these guys, what they would do is they would kind of curl up. They kind of look like the poop emoji, if you're familiar with that. But they'll kind of curl up in that little ball there, tuck their head underneath them, and kind of raise that tail up a little bit, kind of like a little snake head. So oftentimes, if you do see a wild-caught animal, or you come across one of these guys in the wild, oftentimes they'll have some type of scarring or something similar to that along their tail, or the tip of their tail. But that helps them out, keeps them going and staying alive. So yeah. Other kind of neat things about these guys, it's not really neat, I guess, if you've kept boas before, but they've got kind of mating spurs on the outside, which are pretty easy to differentiate between males and females. Males are going to have those spurs. It's not really focusing that well, but you can kind of see that little, sorry, let me try and get it to focus. All right, it's not going to focus, but that's okay. There's just these little mating spurs kind of on the sides of the cloaca there. That the males use to latch on to the females. So it's pretty easy to visually sex these guys, even though they do hatch out quite small. Or not hatch out, but they get birthed out live small. All your boas are going to give, for the most part, as far as I know, all your boa species are going to give live birth, which I think is kind of cool. So your rubber boas and your rosy boas here in the U.S., they do give live birth, which is something kind of neat. And yeah, as far as finding these guys in captivity, they can be pretty tough to come across, I guess, in captivity, just because there's not a lot of people that I've come across that do produce these guys. There is a Facebook group for these guys. It's just Rubber Boas. Just search that on the Facebook group, kind of search bar there, and you'll come across these guys. As far as breeders that I would recommend Paul Lynum, who's the guy that I got my pair from, as well as Russ Cormack. Both of those guys, they're responsible breeders. They've got quality stock, quality animals, and I would highly recommend them. Yeah, if you do go out and reach out to them, you don't have to, but it'd be cool if you mentioned my name, saying that I sent you guys to them. That just kind of helps my friendship with them, and yeah, I just like helping out my friends. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's any clarification needed in anything that I've gone over in this video, feel free to drop a comment below, or just like I said, shoot me a message on social media. If you did enjoy this video, I'd recommend, or I would please ask that you do like this video. It helps me out. It helps me, kind of gives me a little bit of a boost to continue to provide quality content for y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I've got another video coming out today. So after that video, I will see you guys on Wednesday. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and look forward to the next one.